Hey, welcome to the Dankest Dungeon and welcome to another game of Commander. Today we're doing another free-for-all, just bringing whatever decks we'd like to bring. Oh yeah, and we're also trying out the new bracket system, so we're going to be playing at bracket level 3. Let's get it. Hey, it's Jason. Today I'm going to be playing Sefris of the Hidden Ways. This was actually a deck suggested by one of our top tier patrons, Jared R. So hopefully I can do him proud by venturing into the dungeon and doing some graveyard stuff.
Hey, it's David. We got to bring whatever we wanted today. So I brought Ragavan. It's a deck I've had in the back of my mind for a while, and now that I've built it, probably should have just left it in my head.
Hello, it's Corbin. Today we are playing Rakdos the Muscle. It is a 6/5 flying trample that checks notes, is unbeatable and limited. I don't know if you knew that, but I was recently told this, and yeah, probably. We are playing a deck that is based off of one of the live streams that we did recently, because people were like, you never play these decks on the live stream, or on the thing. So this is what we're doing.
Howdy guys, it's Nate, and today, to celebrate Avishkar's rebirth and freedom from the consulate, who better to lead the party than Pia Nalaar, Consul of Revival. My plan is to come at them with unexpected avenues from unexpected ways and let my army of pretty little bird things stab them.
Hey everyone, let's go ahead and roll off for this game of Magic.
Yay!
I got a 10.
I did not get a 10.
5.
I got an 11. Yeah, this is too funny not to. I'm definitely keeping this one.
I will keep this.
Should not keep this. I will take my second 7.
I think I'm going to keep this. I'm going to keep this hand.
If it had one creature in it, I would have kept that hand.
I'm going to keep my first 7. These cards right here I'm going to keep.
Are you just trying to figure out which one you're going to keep in the video, or are you going to say all of that?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
Alright, I will play this mountain and unlock this secret achievement by playing Ragavan before the Ragavan player.
Yikes.
There you go.
I'm going to draw a card. Nice. I'm going to pay 2 life for a Godless Shrine. Pay 1 for an Esper Sentinel.
Ignorant. Alright.
Whenever you play your first non-creature spell each turn, you can either pay equal to his power, or I'll draw a card.
Okay, Joey Wheeler.
Who's that?
Yu-Gi-Oh! Character.
I'll draw, play a mountain, cast Ragavan.
Copycat.
I gotta play my signature card. We'll play a Marsh Flats, and then we'll pass the turn.
Untap, upkeep, draw. I don't think we want to trade Ragavans, do we?
Yeah, force the issue.
Sure.
Swing a Ragavan at you, dude.
I will not block.
Flip Godo, please. Please.
I do make a treasure. And I will pay 2 for Pia Nalaar, Council of Revival. Thopters I control have haste, and whenever I play a card from exile or cast a spell from exile, I create a 1/1 Thopter. Go ahead.
I'm going to untap and draw. I'll play a Misty Rainforest, and then I'll pop it right away. And then I'm going to grab a Shockland that has blue. There it is. Watery Grave. I'll take 3 damage total. I'm going to pay 2 mana. I'm going to play an Overlord of the Balemark with Impending. These are 5 Impending counters. When he enters, I'm going to mill 4, then return a non-avatar creature from my graveyard to my hand. Hitting Buried Alive, Hollowed Fountain, Baleful Strix, and Ledger Shredder. I'm going to go ahead and put Ledger Shredder in hand and pass my turn. This will lose a Impending counter.
Untap, upkeep, draw. Land for turn will be a Fountain Port. And add a colorless. I can pay 2 and sacrifice a token to draw a card. That's pretty much all I plan to do with it. There's other things too, but I'm gonna pay 2, cast Guild Artisan. Commander creatures I control have, whenever this creature attacks a player, if no opponent has more life than that player, I create 2 treasure tokens. I'm gonna move to combat.
Before Ragavan hits me, pay 1 life. I'm gonna get a Raucous Theater into play tapped.
The technology.
I will declare Ragavan as an attacker at Nate. He has the most life, so I will create 2 treasures. And before blockers are declared, I will
Lightning Bolt.
sacrifice 1 and Lightning Bolt his commander.
In response to Lightning Bolt, sacrifice the treasure. Cost is reduced by 2. Because I have 2 legendary creatures, I'll deal 4 damage to Ragavan with this Iganjo.
Sounds good.
I'm gonna resolve my Surveil. I'm gonna put this grinding station in my graveyard.
I will pass turn.
I'm gonna draw. That's pretty cool, except not.
Oh, I'm
That's
so
fine.
sorry. We had some non-creature
Oh
spells.
yeah, I'm not
Just the lightning bolt. This was a channel.
You're not paying?
Nope.
All right, I'll draw one off of David's lightning bolt.
All right, so land for turn is gonna be the swamp. I'm gonna cast this Lotus Petal, trigger Esper Signal. I will not pay.
I'll draw.
I'm going to cast this Arcane Signet. I'm gonna make a red, and then I'm gonna tap this for black. I'm gonna cast the Piggy Bank. It is a 2/3 boar toy. Boar toy.
Boy toy?
Boy toy. When it dies, I create a treasure token, and then I'll pass.
Go to combat. David,
Okay.
I'm gonna hit you with this monkey.
This Ragavan fight is obscene.
Only be one.
Trash for treasure.
I will play this land for turn, being this junk down, pay 4, and recast my commander. And hope it doesn't get lightning bolted again. Go ahead.
I'm gonna untap, I'm gonna draw. I'm gonna play a Caves of Coilless return. I'm gonna pay 2 for Ledger Shredder. You guys all saw him earlier. 1/3 flyer. Whenever somebody casts their second spell on their turn, I can connive. I'll go ahead and hit David for 1.
I'll take it.
I'm gonna pass my turn. I will lose an impending counter.
Untap, upkeep, drop. Mountainous land for turn, and I will tap 2 for a treasure map.
Trigger Esper Sentinel.
I'll pay. I can pay 1, scry 1, put a landmark counter on it. Then if there are 3 more landmark counters on it, remove the counters, and it turns into a land that lets me draw a card if I sack a treasure. Pass.
I'm gonna play Workshop Assistant. 1/2. When it dies, I can return another target artifact card from my graveyard to my hand. Land return is gonna be this Verdant Catacombs. I'll pass. Yeah.
Upkeep. Sure. Combat. Sorry, stop being the only one without blockers. Swing a Ragavan at you.
Yep. I will sacrifice a treasure to activate the treasure map. I'll leave that on top. I'll take 2 and have another mountain.
Alright, make a treasure. Pay 3, cast 1 Game Changer. A Jessica's Will. Not gonna pay for Esper Sentinel.
That'll put me at 8 cards.
I will have 8 red, and I will exile the top 3. Hitting this. Nice.
You're so good at this game.
Play a command tower, make a Thopter. Beautiful Thopters.
Sunflower. All right. A dying sunflower.
Pay 2, play a Ruby Medallion. My red spells cost 1 less.
Trigger Ledger Shredder. I'm just gonna pitch Forbidden Orchard.
I'm gonna pay 4. I'm gonna cast a Bone Horde Dracosaur. Flying first strike. At the beginning of my upkeep, I exile the top 2 cards in my library. I may play them this turn. If I exiled a land, I make a 3/1 dinosaur. If I exiled a non-land, I make a treasure. 4 is feeding into a goddamn toxic deluge, but it's fine. We'll play a Plarg and Nasiri. At the beginning of my upkeep, each player exiles the top card of their library until they exile a non-land card. An opponent chooses a non-land card exiled this way, and then I may cast up to 2 spells from the cards not chosen this way without paying their mana costs. Go to my end step, and these will stay in exile forever.
Into your turn, I'm going to Swamp Cycle this Troll of Khazad-dûn. I'm gonna get Swamp. I'm gonna get Undercity Sewers. I'm gonna untap, draw. I'm gonna go ahead and play this Undercity Sewers. Surveil. Savine's Reclamation can go to the graveyard. You still have no blockers?
Nope.
I'm gonna hit you for 1.
The only other creature in my deck is Godo.
I'm gonna pay 2 mana for some more value. We're gonna have Lotho, Corrupt Sheriff. Whenever a player casts their second spell on a turn, I make a treasure and lose a life. Go ahead. This will lose an impending counter.
Untap, up, draw. Emergence Zone. Tap 3 for my commander. I will pass turn.
End of your turn. I'll put this Blood Crypt into play tapped. Ouchies. I'm gonna play this Shatter Skull, the Hammer Pass, face up in attack mode. I'm just gonna cast my commander and probably regret it. Rakdos the Muscle, 6/5, Flying Trampler.
Unbeatable Unlimited.
Whenever I sacrifice another creature, exile cards equal to its mana value from the top of target player's library. He commits crimes. Until the end of your next end step, you can play those cards, and mana of any type can be spent to cast those spells. And then he has an activated ability. I can sacrifice another creature. He becomes indestructible until end of turn, and I tap him. But I can only activate that ability once a turn. I'll pass.
Are you enjoying our content? Want to help support the show? Consider joining our Patreon for some dank benefits, including access to our full deck list, voting privileges for polls, shoutouts at the end of our videos, and more. Don't want to give us any money? We get it. Subscribing to the channel, liking our videos, and commenting down below also help as well, and are totally free. Thank you so much everyone for your support. Let's get back to the video.
Untap, upkeep, bunch of shit. We're gonna do the Bone Horde Dracosaur first. exiling a Stroke of Midnight and a land. So I make a Dinosaur and a treasure. And then Plarg and Sari, so we're each going to exile till we hit a non-land. David, choose one of these cards that I can't cast.
Probably the Perforos, huh? Just to like make it so it doesn't hurt as much.
Damn. Okay, so I can't cast this Perforos. Sure. We'll hit your Searchy Boy first. I make another Thopter. I gotta reveal it, huh? Or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a specific
That's fair.
card.
anything that doesn't say any card, you have to show. Otherwise,
Wow.
you're a fucking liar.
That's fair. I'm gonna grab a Battle Hymn.
You're a liar.
And then let's cast this Chaotic Transformation.
Esper on Waterlogged, would you like to pay one?
This would have been untapped.
Oh yeah, I thought you were tapped out. I was like, oh, this isn't so bad. It's worse now. Okay.
Sure. I can pay the 1 for it.
Okay.
And then Chaotic Transformation. So I exile up to 1 target artifact, creature, enchantment, up to 1 planeswalker, and a land. For each one exiled, the controller reveals till they reveal something that shares that type with it, and then puts it on the battlefield. Artifact, creature.
Trigger Lotho, I'll lose a life and make a treasure. Trigger Ledger Shredder, I will connive. I'm just going to discard an Archivist of Ogma. Ledger Shredder will get a counter.
So creature or artifact. Sure. I got a Soul Talisman. And a Hedron Detonator. When an artifact ETBs under my control, deal 1 damage to target opponent. I can tap it, sack 2 artifacts, exile the top card of my library. I can play those this turn. And yeah, that's all the nonsense at upkeep. And then I'll draw for turn. Have a colorless floating. Cast a Valakut Exploration. Landfall when a land ETBs under my control, exile the top. I can play it as long as it remains exiled. At the beginning of my end step, if there's any cards exiled with Valakut's Exploration, I put them into my graveyard, and then I deal that much damage to each opponent. Play my land for turn, being this Prismatic Vista, exiling with Valakut, making a Thopter because of Pia Nalaar, dealing 1 damage to you, Corbin,
Sure.
from the Hedron. Pay a life, crack the Prismatic, exiling top from Valakut, being this Renewed Solidarity. Okay. Cast this Renewed Solidarity. When it enters, I choose a creature type, choosing Thopters. Creatures I control of the chosen type get +1/+0, and at the beginning of my end step, for each token I control of the chosen type that entered the battlefield this turn, I create a token that's a copy of it. On cast, I make a Thopter. I will deal 1 to you, Jason. Go to combat. Here's a monkey at you, David, and here is 3 Thopters at you, Jason.
I'll block 1 with my bird.
I'll declare no blocks, but I'm going to activate Treasure Map before damage. Leave that on top. You can have another mountain.
All right. End step, Loshia will go to my graveyard. I'm going to deal 1 to each of you. 3 more Thopters from Renewed Solidarity.
Where's your other Thopter? It's dead. So you make 2 more Thopters? It
No,
don't remember the
there's just
fallen, bro.
2 are going to enter Hedron Detonator. I'm going to deal 2 to you, Corb.
Sure.
Into your turn, I'm going to pay 1 life to make a black. I will pay 2 more life to cast Vampiric Tutor. This card will go on top. Go to my turn, untapping and drawing. I'm going to go ahead and play Grim Climb Pathway. It taps for a black. David,
Yeah.
everyone's coming at you.
Declaring no blacks, so I'll take 5.
And I'm going to pay 1 black for Blasphemous Edict. I can pay 1 black rather than play this spell's mana cost if there are 13 or more creatures on the battlefield. There definitely are that. Each player sacrifices 13 creatures of their choice.
I will respond. I will sack this piggy bank to Rakdos the Muscle, and I will target myself. Trigger. I get a treasure token, and then I will exile the top 2 cards. Will not play that. All right. Okay, cool. Trigger Workshop Assistant. I'll put the Lotus Petal in my hand.
This guy's not a creature yet. He'll hang out. Now seems like an okay time to drop a Teferi, Master of Time. I'm going to go ahead and uptick him to draw a card and discard a card. I can activate him on everyone's turn, not just mine. Draw a card. I'm going to discard a Lauren of the Third Path, and then I'll pass turn. This will lose another impending counter.
Untap, upkeep, pay a mana to activate Treasure Map to scry. I'll leave that on top. I will transform Treasure Map into Treasure Cove, which will give me 3 treasures. I will draw for turn. I'll play Fomori Vault as land for turn. I will cast Soul Guide Lantern, exiling Sabine's Reclamation.
Okay.
Tap 1, I'm going to play Vexing Bauble. Whenever a player casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. I can pay 1, sacrifice Vexing Bauble, and draw a card. I'm going to sacrifice 3 treasures and tap 2 lands to cast Ragavan again. I will pass turn.
End of your turn, I'm going to activate Teferi. I'm going to discard Sensei's Divining Top.
All right, untap. Draw. That booty. All right, so I'm casting Glaring Flesh Raker with 1 red and 2 black mana. Because Rakdos says you can use mana of any colors. I'm going to cast this Lotus Petal. Trigger. Fleshraker is a 2/2. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, make a Eldrazi spawn. Whenever another colorless creature enters the battlefield under your control, he deals 1 damage to each opponent. I get a dude. Trigger Vexing Bauble. This gets countered. This triggers. I will deal 1 damage to each of you scrubs. 4 mana. Fell the Profane, targeting Teferi. Destroy target planeswalker.
Okay, in response, I'll activate him. Draw a card, and I'm going to discard Abyssal Harvester, and he'll die.
I'll pass.
Draw. I will play a land for turn, trigger Valakut Exploration, exiling this Visions of Phyrexia. Have a colorless floating. Cast Visions of Phyrexia. At the beginning of my upkeep, exile the top card of my library. I may play that card this turn. At the beginning of my end step, if I didn't play a card from exile this turn, create a tapped Power Stone. Red and 1. I'm going to cast Brea's Apprentice. When Brea's Apprentice enters the battlefield, I create a 1/1 colorless Thopter, and I can tap or sack an artifact to exile the top. Until the end of turn, I can play that card, or target creature gets +2/+0. 5, cost reduced by 1. Then we'll cast Pia Nalaar. Corbin, I'll fly in the air for you, too.
Sure.
End step, Renewed Solidarity trigger, make another Thopter. Go ahead.
I'll untap and draw. Play a Clearwater Pathway for turn. I'm going to go ahead and cast my commander, Sefris of the Hidden Ways. 2/3, human wizard. Whenever one or more creature cards are put into my graveyard from anywhere, venture into the dungeon. This triggers only once each turn. I'll pass my turn. In my turn, this will lose its last impending counter. It is now a 5/5 creature, Avatar Horror.
Upkeep drop. Land for turn is going to be Hidden Grotto. When it enters, I surveil one. Put a Codex Shredder in the graveyard. Sticky Fingers on Ragavan. Enchanted creature has menace, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. Yeah, I will move to combat, attack Corbin with a menace Ragavan.
Neato. No blocks.
I will create 2 treasure tokens.
I will exile this land.
Nice. Sacrifice a treasure token to draw a card with the Treasure Cove. Cast Shifting Shadows onto Ragavan. Enchanted creature has haste, and at the beginning of my upkeep, destroy this creature, reveal cards from the top of my library until I reveal a creature card, put that card on the battlefield, then attach Shifting Shadows to that creature. And I will pass turn.
I will cast this Rakdos Signet, trigger the Fleshraker. Everybody take a damage. Well, I have no way to destroy that Ragavan.
It'd be cooler if you did.
Play this Psychomancer. It's a 1/1 with flying. Harbinger of Despair. Whenever Psychomancer or another non-token artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield or is put into exile from the battlefield, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain a life. I will pass turn.
Upkeep, exile the top with Visions of Phyrexia, being this Stride Hanger Automaton. And I will draw for turn. I'm going to cast this Rousing Refrain. I'm going to add 4 red mana to my mana pool. Exile Rousing Refrain with 3 time counters on it. I'm going to cast a Stride Hanger Automaton, make a Thopter with Pia. When 1 or more artifact tokens would be created under my control, those tokens plus an additional Thopter is made. Use the red floating to battle him, adding 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Use a red, cast a Skull Clamp.
Well, Arcane Denial and Skull Clamp.
Alright, Skull Clamp gets countered.
You'll draw 2 cards in my upkeep, I'll draw 1.
I'll use the 5 floating. I'm going to sacrifice Junktown. I'm going to make 3 junk tokens.
What do junk tokens do, Nate?
I can tap them, sacrifice the junk token, exile the top card of my library. I can play that card this turn. Activate only as a sorcery.
More of the same shit.
Yep. When I make these 3 junk tokens, they're also artifact tokens, so I'm making 3 more Thopters. I'll tap sack a junk. Exile this Spire of Industry. Play the Spire of Industry for a turn. Make a Thopter. Exile an Arid Mesa with Valakut. Sack 1. Exile this Commander Liara Porter. Well, this is just gonna stay gone forever because I don't have 5 mana. We'll hit the last one. Exiling fucking Plains.
You could have waited. This is all on you.
Yeah, go to combat. 2 Thopters at you. Here is 3 Thopters at you, David, and 3 Thopters at you, Corbin.
That seems inefficient.
I'll take 6.
Take 9.
Give me the 9.
And then end step, I had 6 of these enter. They're still here. 6 more.
We're right back here again.
Go ahead. Valakut, Arid Mesa goes. dealing what you all want.
I'm gonna untap.
Beginning of your upkeep from the Arcane Denial, I draw 2.
I'll draw 1. And draw. Combat. Overlord of the Bale Mark at you, David. Trigger his ability.
With that trigger on the stack, I'm going to sacrifice Soul God Lantern to exile each opponent's graveyard.
And then I will mill 4 and hopefully hit something real cool. Hitting Marsh Flats, Underground River, Deadly Rollick, and Vohar, Vodalian Desecrator. He will go to my hand because he's the only creature. Trigger my commander because the creature went to my graveyard. I will venture into the dungeon. I'm going to venture into the Lost Mine of Fandelver. I'm going to scry 1. This will go on the bottom. 2 mana for Cathar Commando. I can pay 1 and sack it to destroy target artifact or enchantment. I'm going to go ahead and pay 1 and do that. Destroying enchantment on Ragavan.
I will...
Deflecting spell? No.
Well, I'm going to respond
Yeah.
by sacrificing my Vexing Bauble by paying 1 mana to draw a card.
Okay.
That's
Oh,
it.
for real? Oh, no.
I will Deflecting Swat and have you blow up. Does that guy give Thopters?
Yeah.
Create Thopters? Yeah.
In response, 3 mana. I'm going to Frantic Search. I will draw 2 and then discard 2 and then untap 3 lands. We made it. Discarding Arcane Signet and Vohar. What were you deflecting it to?
This.
The thing that's making extra Thopters.
That's fine. That can resolve.
In response, I'm gonna Freya's Apprentice. I'm gonna sacrifice this, exile the top card of my library. I can play it this turn. Fuck.
Go ahead.
Upkeep trigger, Shifting Shadows.
In response to the trigger going on the stack, I'm going to Bitter Triumph. Destroy target creature or planeswalker has an additional cost to cast a spell. I discard a card or pay 3 life. I'll pay the 3.
We will sacrifice this treasure to draw a card with Treasure Cove.
Tybalt's trickery. Oh, fuck.
I will cast Tybalt's
I mean,
Trickery. to counter
sometimes
that.
you just stack your deck. I will pass priority on all that BS.
Yeah, I got jack shit nothing for that.
Yeah, okay. That'll resolve.
Choose 1, 2, or 3 at random. I'll roll a d6. Its controller mills that many cards, then exiles from the top until they exile a non-land card with a different name than that spell. They may cast without paying its mana cost. You're going to mill 1.
Faithful Mending. Dark Ritual.
Cool.
And I can cast it for free. All right, I have 3 black mana. Yeah, go for it.
The only other creature in my deck is Godo, Bandit Warlord. Godo enters. I will search up Helm of the Host. I'm 1 mana short, but I have a draw trigger from Sticky Fingers and my draw for turn, so hopefully I can hit a land. And Shifting Shadows attaches to Godo. The draw from Sticky Fingers, I will draw for turn. Prismatic Vista is land for turn. I'll pay a life, search for a mountain. 5 mana to attach Helm of the Host to Godo. At the beginning of combat on my turn, create a token that's a copy of an equipped creature, except the token isn't legendary. If equipped creature is legendary, that token gains haste. And Godo says, whenever Godo attacks for the first time each turn, untap it and all samurai you control. After this phase, you get an additional combat. So when I make the token, when it attacks, I'll untap all samurai and get another combat. When I go to combat, it'll make another token.
Okay, yeah, I think you got it.
I will move to combat, Helm of the Host trigger, make a Godo, trigger Godo, untap. That Godo will go and get Hammer of Nazan just to be safe, and then I'm not going to get any more. And then I will proceed to attempt to go for infinite combats with infinite tokens being made to kill everyone.
Nice.
I blame Jason.
What do you mean? And David is able to rip some insane top decks and cruise Godo Helm to the win. Very cool. Great job, David. Hope you all enjoyed that. See you next time. Thank you, patrons, especially Jacob M., Paul K., Jared R., KeyGCB, Mad Hunter Mage CJ, and Jared N. And thank you to the rest of our patrons as well.